Hey guys, it's Penguin here, and welcome back to another gold making video. In today's video, we are going to be covering one of the brand new crafting reagents coming in patch 10.1 that will be a major addition. These are the Zaralek Glowspores, and we're going to be covering what they are and exactly how to farm them. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into this video, but if you find it helpful, leaving a like or subscribing would be amazing. So here we go. And up first, let's talk about what these glow spores are actually used for. Like I said, they are one of the new crafting reagents coming in the new patch, and they are used for a variety of the new recipes. I will have a list of all those recipes on screen with their current amounts, but I wanted to highlight a few of them. Firstly, we have the popular transmute for the new gem, Draconflight, and that requires 300 glow spores just on its own. Then we also have the new leatherworking armor kit, which is called the Lambent armor kit, and this requires 150. Then we have the new Niffin contract for the new renown, and those cost 20 each. Then lastly, I just want to highlight the cauldron, which acts as a portable altar of decay, and that requires 200 glow spores plus one of the new gems. So if you are somebody who is creating your own gem, that is 300 plus 200 for a total of 500 glow spores just for that one item. So just from those 4 items, you can see that people will be needing a lot of glow spores. Many recipes require multiple hundreds, so let's actually dive in to how to actually gather these. And if you haven't guessed already, the primary way to get this reagent is through mining and herbalism. So go gatherers, this is a video for you. Skinners, I apologize, but gatherers will be very busy in patch 10.1. Now, technically, we are going to be breaking down the 5 different ways of getting these glow spores, but if you want the quick and easy answer, basically you just need to go out and gather in the new zone. So all of these deal with gathering, so there you go, but let's actually break down the specifics. And up first, we have Lambent herb nodes. This is the new herb modifier coming in patch 10.1. If you're not sure what I'm talking about when I say herb modifier, I'm talking about the special version of each herb. So you know how there's Titan Touch, there's Lush, etc. We are getting a brand new one called Lambent. Now, to keep it simple, this applies to all 4 herbs. So you have Hawkenbloom, Wraithbark, Bubble Poppy, and Saxifrage. So you don't have to hunt out a specific one. And if you're trying to find it visually as you are just flying around, it has a greenish tint to all of them. But generally, I would say look on the map since it's a bit hard to tell. And this source is very simple. All you have to do is just loot the node, and you will gain a small amount of glow spores along with the herb that you were expecting. Now, you're also going to get a temporary buff that lasts for 2 minutes called Zaralek Glowspores, which we're going to talk about in just 1 second. Don't forget about it, but this is our first basic method. Up next, we have the mining equivalent. So now we have the Metamorphic Ore nodes, which is basically just the mining version of what we just talked about. So this is the new ore modifier coming in patch 10.1, and this applies to Servite as well as Draconium. This one I think is a little bit easier to spot if you're not looking at your minimap for names, because it has a bluish purple tint, which is really easy to spot compared to just like the basic brown or grayish tone of the normal node. Similar to before, all you have to do is loot the node, you'll get a handful of glow spores and of course the ore that you're expecting, and you're good to go. Also, you will once again receive a temporary buff for 2 minutes, however, this is called Zaralek Glowdust. And this perfectly sets us up for method number 3, which is called Propagated Spores. And this method is a perfect reason on why I always recommend having mining and herbing together on the same character. Of course, the obvious reason, right, is because as you are flying around looking for mining nodes, you can also find herbalism nodes, so you just make more gold per hour, but in this case, you have to have mining and herbalism on the same character to actually get these propagated spores. Going back to those buffs you receive, basically all you have to do is get both buffs at the same time. So all you have to do is mine a Lambent herb and a Metamorphic Ore node within 2 minutes of each other. As soon as you gain both buffs, they will disappear and you will receive a propagated spore within your inventory. All you have to do is right-click it and you will gain a large amount of spores. Now, of course, this is PTR, numbers aren't exact, so I'm not going to say this with 100% clarity, but on my low-level miner, these propagated spores gave me anywhere between 3 to 5 times the normal amount that I would get from just gathering. So these are very, very good. This will increase your gold per hour a ton, so yet again, please be a dual gatherer. Now, moving on to the final 2 methods, they basically are the same thing, but yet again, one is for herbing and the other one is for mining. And this is overloading those specific nodes. Now, overloading is an ability you get as a miner or herbalist where you have a cooldown, but whenever that cooldown is up, you can actually overload a node and have something special happen. And this is where a lot of glowspores come from as well. And going back to herbalism, every time you overload one of those special lambent herbs, you are going to spawn a little spore creature who will quickly run away from you. He will spawn these little spores around him, and all you have to do is run through them, and you will collect them. I highly recommend to make sure you stay mounted or you remount if you accidentally dismount, because they do disappear, and you will not get all of them if you are just walking. But this is a way that you will get a ton of different spores, and afterwards you can loot the herb just like normal. Then lastly, we of course have the overloading of metamorphic, and whenever that happens, other metamorphic rocks will just spawn around you. All you have to do is mine them, and they will reward you with a ton of spores. So instead of having to run around and chase a creature, all you have to do is just mine a few more things. Then of course, just like the herbalism one, you can mine the first node just like normal, get that buff, and start the process all over again. And yeah guys, that is it. Of course, I could have just said, hey, go mine an herb, but I know some people like to have as much knowledge as possible, and hopefully this helps you out. To recap, the 5 methods are of course just harvesting the new nodes like normal. The second one is harvesting them within 2 minutes of each other and getting yourself a propagated spore. Then lastly, overloading those nodes, gain even more glowspores, and then of course you can mine it like normal once you're done. And that is it. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. But gatherers, I hope you're excited. You're finally going to be able to do some new content in 10.1, and hopefully this brings the fun back to gathering. But everybody, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day.